Welcome back, YouTube, to another video. Today we are going to be, we got to charge our phone, so let's go ahead and plug this up so we can finish the video later. And we have officially switched into inside the house videos. Today we're going to be reacting to how many Snickers can you make from one bag of peanuts. Let's get straight into this video. Me personally, I don't think you can make any personally Snickers, but Snickers are fucking amazing. But let's get
We're going to continue shelling. After another hour, I realized that this method was too slow. So we're going to change tactics and use a small board. With this, we're going to crack dozens of shells at once. This made the work much faster. Looking at the mountain of peanuts, I dread to think how long full shelling is going to take.
Alright, so that's what that is.
3 days later, we're finished. Just look at how much empty shell we have. We don't need this, so it's going to go in the trash. We're going to gather it. And we're going to take it out. The main result of our 3 days of work is the kernels themselves. But in a Snickers, they aren't used the way we have them now. The nuts are currently raw and have a thin red skin. So we're going to solve these issues by roasting them. We're going to spread the peanuts onto baking trays and distribute them evenly. All done. We're going to send the first batch to roast in the oven for about 15 minutes. Then we're going to pour the roasted peanuts on the opposite side of the table. After roasting, they've developed that classic nutty aroma. Every single peanut must go through the oven. And our roasting is complete. After this stage, the red skins come off the nuts very easily. To speed up the skinning process, we're going to pull the peanuts to the edge of the table, we're going to take a mesh bag, and we're going to put a portion of the peanuts inside. Then we're going to fold the edge over and start rubbing the peanuts together. The skins are going to separate and fall out through the mesh holes. Then we're going to pour the now clean peanuts into a container. Everything is ready, but for final filtration, we're going to pass the peanuts through a powerful stream of air to get rid of any remaining skin fragments. Finally, after 4 days of work, I have perfect peanuts for making Snickers. Initially, there were 30 kilograms. Let's weigh them now and see how the weight changed after processing. The net weight, excluding the container, is 17 kilograms. But besides the peanuts themselves, Snickers also uses peanut butter. So to make this, we're going to send 4 kilograms of peanuts into the large blade blender. We're going to cover it with the lid and blend them. In 5 minutes, the blender did all it could. But this is still crumbs, it's not butter. So next, we're gonna need a melanger. We're gonna turn it on, and using a spoon, we're gonna gradually load the peanut crumbs into the machine. All done. The heavy stone rollers grind the peanut crumbs against a stone base, and with each hour it becomes more and more paste-like. A good result takes 12 hours. In the end, we get perfect peanut butter. Now we can turn off the melanger and pour the peanut butter into a bowl. We managed to fill it completely. And finally, the peanut preparation is complete. But peanuts make up only 30% of a Snickers. Another 20% is caramel, 35% is nougat, and 15% is chocolate. So I bought a lot of other ingredients.
What do you need to make? Bro,
including the nuts, I've already spent $550. We're gonna start making Snickers with the peanut caramel layer. And for this, we need a whole bucket of corn syrup. We're going to open it up and scoop out some for the first batch. Next, of course, we need sugar. We're gonna pour this into a saucepan, add a drop of water, and then we can put the saucepan on the stove. Now be sure to use a thermometer to control the temperature. While the caramel is cooking, our task is to measure the needed amount of heavy cream and peanut butter.
That shit, look how clean sound.
We need to mix the whole mass.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that. What is my phone at?
Now when the caramel reaches the right temperature, we're gonna pour it in. Also, we're going to scoop a portion of peanuts and add them to the saucepan. Now all that's left is to stir everything. Now we can take it off the stove, and next we're going to take a mold and fill it halfway with the peanut caramel mixture. By the end of filling the molds, the caramel has cooled down, sticking to the spoon, and this becomes pure torture. Most importantly, it's impossible to dose the amount of caramel. This makes the caramel layer uneven in thickness. So we decided to use a different mold. We're gonna line it with parchment paper and pour in the hot caramel.
That's so tough, bro.
We're going to spread it evenly with a spatula, creating a uniform layer exactly as thick as an original Snickers. This is an excellent result. To set up a Snickers production line, we need many of these molds.
How many? How many? Bro, how many?
At the first stage, I measured out 4 portions of ingredients at once. Then I cooked the caramel on all 4 burners. Meanwhile, a second person is measuring out 4 portions of cream and peanut butter. When the caramel is almost ready, we're going to take the preparations and pour them into the saucepans. I also add peanuts, and while stirring, I'm going to bring the caramel to perfection. At the same time, 2 more people are going to take the molds and line them with parchment paper. I take the finished caramel off the stove and distribute it into the molds. Everything is calculated in advance so that 1 saucepan of caramel is enough for 1 mold. Now all that's left is to spread it. All done. Now we just need to repeat this many, many times.
How many times, bro? Please, bro. How many times? How many times? Hold on, this is how many times.
We managed to fill exactly 60 molds. This took another full day. Next, we're going to move on to making the nougat. For this, we're going to need dried egg white. Unlike regular eggs, we don't need to discard the yolks here, so we save on raw materials. We put 1 teaspoon of powder into measuring cups. And then we add the needed portion of water. And all that's left is to mix it. Effectively, we have restored the egg white to its original form, and we're going to pour it into the mixers to whip. Now we're going to add sugar and increase the mixer speed. We need a stiff foam. Then we're gonna cook 4 portions of caramel and pour it in a thin stream into the egg white while continuing to whip them until the nougat thickens. Now, in an original Snickers, the nougat isn't white, but it's beige due to the addition of peanut butter. We have exactly half a bowl left. We need to add just 1 tablespoon to each portion of nougat.
I feel like every time I open my phone, it's some other bullshit. Like, every other message I get, bullshit. Every other bitch I talk to, bullshit. Every other anything, bullshit. Like, it just don't seem to understand. Let's get back to this video, though. Like, 15 layers of dick and balls and bullshit in my face as soon as I open my phone. Let's get back to this stuff.
After that, the nougat is ready. We're gonna layer it on top of the caramel layer, and then we're gonna cover it with parchment paper and evenly distribute the nougat over the entire area of the mold using a rolling pin. All done. The 2 filling layers are stuck together. But it turns out that regular mixers can't handle such a load, and they break very quickly. So we're going to use 2 larger mixers. In one go, we still get the same 4 portions of nougat. So now we start the production line again. Two days later, we ran out of peanut butter, but it was enough to fill absolutely all the molds with nougat. So the calculations were correct. Now each mold needs to be covered with plastic wrap so the nougat doesn't absorb moisture from the air.
Okay, bro. Then what are we doing after?
The first mold is wrapped, only 59 more to go.
Oh, okay. Why did he have his pad?
Before the cutting stage, the filling needs to be cooled, so we're gonna put it in the fridge.
This is such a kitchen. This is big, like, this is me family. Like, this is the blueprint.
We filled the fridge to capacity, and we can close the door. Now we're gonna leave it to cool for 12 hours. While the filling is cooling, we're gonna prepare for the cutting stage and make a mold with guides for the knife. We simply cut the edges at the necessary spots. All done. The filling is cooled down, so now we can move on to the cutting. We're going to remove the plastic wrap, take out the filling together with the parchment paper, and transfer it to our special mold with guides. Now, using a long spatula, we can easily cut the filling into pieces the size of original Snickers. All done. The filling is perfectly cut into 32 segments. We cut the remaining filling slabs following the same principle. Next, we're going to take the filling out of the molds. We're going to turn it over and remove the parchment paper. And then we finally break the filling into the required pieces. And we get perfect Snicker blanks. Now we move on to the final stage, coating them with chocolate. I bought granulated milk chocolate, and it needs to be melted. For this, we're going to use a bain-marie, or a water bath. We're going to fill it with water. Essentially, it's a controlled water bath. We're going to set up a gastronorm container and fill it with chocolate.
Oh, wow. Chocolate.
Now we can turn on the heat. As the chocolate starts to melt, we need to speed up the process and stir it periodically with a spatula. hour and a half later, the chocolate becomes liquid. That's exactly what we need. So we take a chilled Snickers blank, dip it into the chocolate, and submerge it slightly.
I'm filming.
Then we shake off the excess chocolate
Peanut butter, Snickers.
and transfer it to a parchment paper to set. On an original Snickers, there are patterns on top, so we're going to do something similar to that. After it sets, we're going to trim off all the uneven chocolate edges. And we put the perfect homemade Snickers on a tray. By the way, we're not going to throw away the chocolate trimmings. We're going to put them back into the bain-marie as all of the ingredients were calculated and bought, so we had just enough to be able to calculate the cost of a homemade Snickers. To speed up the process, 3 people are going to coat the bars with chocolate at once.
I wouldn't try the both flavors.
After another 2 days of work, all the Snickers are finally coated in chocolate. A full 10 days have passed since we started shelling the peanuts. This no longer felt like home cooking, it was more like industrial production. In total, from the 30-kilogram bag of peanuts, we managed to make exactly 1,840 Snickers. But before we compare their price to store-bought bars, we need to make packaging, as it's not free. We printed exactly 1,840 wrappers and bought 4 packs of staples for the stapler. This cost us another $110. We're going to take the first label and wrap it around the homemade Snickers, and then secure the label with a stapler. And of course, trim the edges with decorative scissors. The result is packaging that could be mistaken for the original. We're going to simply stack the wrapped Snickers on the table. We still have 1,839 Snickers left to wrap.
All right, they made 1,839 Snickers plus how many?
All of them ourselves. So we gathered all the Snickers into 3 huge containers. We decided to give the first container to the children from a dance group. They were incredibly happy about it.
Okay. Actually, y'all, they turn up the like. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below for more videos, please.